Hello, this is Bunting, and you read the title. Today we're going over some Supertask style sound design in Ableton and Vital. Let's go. Alright, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you're hyped to know what's going on here. But first, I gotta say, the majority of my viewers are not subscribed, so if you enjoy my videos, please do that. That'd be awesome. That'd be amazing. Great. Now, my first step in approaching this kind of track is, to have a melodic harmonic bass for it. So for that, get a chord progression. If you can't think of one in your head and can't manage to write it out, just look one up really, or just copy mine for that matter, just for experimental purposes and all that jazz. And you really need a harmonic melodic bass for this kind of stuff, or else it's not going to be chill, it's not going to be vibey. It's just going to be normal old bass music, not down-tempo Supertask type stuff. Now, on top of having all these theoretical music theory type stuff, harmonies and all that, you need a lot of lush pad sounds and nice leads. So for this first kind of chord hit here, what I did was, so I just have a saw wave. This is just your default saw wave, right? And then I took this LFO, dragged it out, put it on envelope, and put it to coordinate frequency. And I also introduced some unison voices with a mess with the detune. This gives it that nice width, makes it a super saw, they call it. So in addition to that, I had this filter sweep, right? This is being controlled by the LFO here, and also a sweep on the level. And just to get that nice and crisp, of course, multiband compression, attack and release up, and some reverb to make it lovely and spacious. And that gives us a lovely kind of chord hit. So this kind of lo-fi, cool, fluttery chord right here. This is a kind of sound you'll hear a lot in Supertask stuff, and that is, sorry, I'm mistaken. What it is the down sample, but I'll get to that in a minute. This chord right here, I just have a sine wave. I pitched the octave up just because I put it in a different octave than what I wanted it in, but you know the deal. And this is literally just a sine wave. The filter does nothing. Multiband compression and a bit of distortion to give it some more harmonic content, right? And that distortion gives it kind of a nice lo-fi texture to it. And now for this flutter, I just dragged in an auto pan, right? Lovely auto pan here. Drag the amount up, turn the phase down so it's not stereo, turned it on this mode, and dragged it to where I wanted it. And you get a lovely flutter, and put on some reverb after that for the spacious vibes. Lots of spacious atmospheric vibes in here. And those together, get some lovely chord hits. One thing I did do in this patch that I did not show you, or you might have caught it, is gliding. So I just had the glide turned up and always glide and legato on. That way, it smoothly transitions between notes. Okay, cool. Cool stuff, cool, awesome. Next thing, I'll show you this lead that you will hear a lot in Supertask kind of stuff. Just in a lot of music in general. It's a pretty common sound, but it's lovely. It's simple but effective. Nice bell sound. So I'm just gonna demonstrate from scratch since it's so simple. So just get a basic shapes, sine wave. And I'm just shaping the envelope so it's nice and plucky. Feel free to copy what I did there, just decay, sustain, release down. And effects, actually, right? And this lovely tinkly bell sound comes from the down sample. It's not just for bass sounds, you can get some nice bell. It just adds some rich, crystally harmonics. Right? And it's really that simple. That's all you need to make an effective kind of plucky bell. And just to make it super atmospheric, which Supertask likes to do, I added some echo, right? Echo, I just turned the dry wet down because it's way too much with it high up. And you can feel free to mess with the echo time, the notes here, the feedback, and all that stuff there to tweak it to your liking. There's plenty of parameters to mess around, but I just like it like that. And of course the reverb. Also turn the quality up. You might want to turn that up so it sounds nicer. And for all these melodies, I do happen to know a lot of theory, but I mostly just play what I hear in my head, you know, and if I don't like it, I try again. You know, if it helps, just sing it out loud, like literally like, I'll just be playing this and be like, and then I'll be like, you know. You can do it too, you know. It might not be as quick as me because I've been doing it for a while, but really it's just trial and error, and you'll get better and better at it over time. And make sure with your melodies have a little bit of variation, because that just makes it nicer. You know, have a little motif, but a bit of variation. This is the same. It's actually not the same at all. I lied to you. I started off the same, but I wanted a slightly different timbre. So for that, I didn't want quite the same downsampled vibe, right? So I decided, okay, how about just a normal sine wave? Not rich enough, but triangle wave gives you a much richer harmonic waveform while it's still being smooth and bell-like. It's just lovely. And for this, I made the envelope pluckier and also have a filter plucking here. Awesome. A lot of lead sound design for this type of stuff. And generally, a lot of it comes from background layers as well. There's quite a bit of background layers here, but the one thing I want to get to, you might be wondering about, is the sub. This is just a sine wave sub. Well, in fact, I do have like a kind of dedicated sub preset. And this looks complicated, but all it is that's all you need, just a sine wave. And you can have it gliding if you want. But this lovely white noise layer comes from Ableton's erosion. So let's just look up hiss and hiss. Supertask used that a lot of freeform bass, whatever style producers use that sound. It's awesome. I love it. Okay, just gonna keep on going over these kind of the root elements, right? With this percussion. Of course, get your drums knocking or whatever. But if you notice something, I have little bits of foley to create some interest, create some lovely textures, right? And then here I have just kind of cool effects. You can use kind of percussion sound effects. You can use any sound effect really. This is just a water drop. You'll hear little bits of ear candy like this scattered throughout Supertask stuff, especially with a bit of decay. Just makes it, delay, makes it atmospheric. Decay, I don't know, it's scary, like decaying, like death. All right, moving on. I'll get to those vocals, but now this little sound design here, since you're probably wondering, this is sine wave with delay, and I'd get a little pitch whoosh using envelope 2, and I just assigned this to the pitch. Just dragged it over, shaped it to my liking, and downsampled it. Gives you a nice little whoosh. That's a cool background effect. Okay, next thing. This is a distorted sine wave. Who would have thought? Very common in this kind of stuff. See, distorted, and I have a bit of FM with the basic shape, and I put on a low pass since I wanted a little less rough, a little smoother harmonically, and pitch it up 12. Just feel free to copy everything I did. And of course, filters for movement. I cannot emphasize this enough. Filters are awesome for just throwing anything anywhere, you know. I was talking with a student, I guess you could say, if you were technico, if you were on the Masterclass Monday live stream, which you can check out on the channel and sign up for and all that stuff. But I told them that you can get away with a lot of stuff by introducing dynamics, whether it's volume shaping or filter shaping. You know, you can have a lot of cool stuff anywhere as long as it makes dynamic sense, you know. It doesn't have to be just an FM distorted sine wave basic thing. It can be cooler. Okay. Okay, so now on to these bass sounds, which you'll see in a lot of my other videos too. But I lied, not the bass sounds. I'm just showing you this spooky lead here. This is a detuned triangle wave with distortion, with glide and attack. Awesome. Pause that, copy it, copy that. Now time for the fun basses. Of course, you want that sub kicking, right? And for the second half, I decided, all right, some more movement, introducing that wobbliness with the auto pan. Sick, gnarly. And just laying it with the top subs. You can really do a lot of different things with the top subs. Your sub doesn't have to be matching your top layers. In fact, it can be more interesting if it's not. So this right here, what do you know? A sine wave. Crazy, right? With some LFO action on the volume, that's all you need. And after that, you want a saturator on sinoid fold. When it's on sinoid fold, just messing with the drive and bass gives you some crazy, interesting harmonic results. And you can change the way it wobbles as well by messing with the volume shaping. For example, if I had no volume shaping on this sine wave, but put it after the saturator, it wouldn't quite wobble. It wouldn't womp as hard. It would more like oscillate. So, okay, I'll show you it, since like why am I wasting all my time explaining when I could just like, okay, see, it's not womping, but if you put this on, it's not as dynamic. It's not woo woo. It's just hoo 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 hoo, you know. Okay, you get it. You get the idea. Okay, whatever. You get the idea. Broke the bass sound, but whatever. Okay, this top layer here, similar trick to my other videos. Get yourself the harmonic series wavetable and drag it to a place that sounds cool. And a bit of downsample for some nice crispy harmonics and reverb and auto pan, you know the deal. I also have some frequency shifter here, which is also nice for these kind of high layers, which I also turn to this mode, turn to this notes mode, and also turn the amount up. That makes it just phase around all crazy. Like, it's sick, it's awesome, it's healthy for you actually, it's not sick. These are good frequencies. This same method as the previous bass, except a bit different. See, forget all this, it's not that complicated. It is just a sine wave, right? A sine wave. It's being auto-panned, pushed through this sinoid fold. Of course, EQ out your lows. Goes without saying. I should say it more, though. EQ out your lows so your sub is nice and clean. That's just important. A bit of redux. Redux is another way to introduce downsampling. It gives you a bit more control than Vital's downsample would give you. I put on OTT because why not? OTT is cool. Turn the amount down. And I also have some frequency shifting on here with the automation, you know? Just like all my other videos that I go over freeform bass stuff, it's all the same. Won't you get it? It's literally all the same. It's just distorted sine waves and sometimes other stuff, okay? But jokes aside, yeah. Really, you can go far just with sine waves and distorting them and layering them and having them flow and interplay with each other. But like, the hardest part for this kind of style is absolutely like the melodic elements of it, you know? For your pad sounds, just get basic shapes, definitely basic shapes, and mess with different kind of filtering, mess with different auto pans, you know, maybe add a bit of phaser. Different volume automations is what I mean, different filtering, different just subtle effects. You don't want anything crazy going on for your pads. Pads are all very simple. If you want a little more movement, you could say, like, add a filter. Let's add an auto filter, right? You can have this shift over time. You know, that's just an example. But feel free to copy my presets and then switch out some waveforms. Just tweak it slightly. Of course, you want it all atmospheric with some nice reverb and all that stuff. I was getting over the general tips, but hey, I have vocal chops here. All I did here, this is Taylor Swift Love Story. Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna play the whole thing because I might get copyrighted, but I pretty much turned on warp on beat, transposed it to the key, and I just chopped it up and pitched it around. I also added this M auto pitch, and put it in the key of the song, A sharp minor or B flat minor. I like that better. So it's more on key, but pretty much just chopping up whatever I feel like and tuning it to the pitch. You know, you can really have fun with this. Experiment with different background elements, you know, take my patches and tweak them. Of course, the harmonic possibilities are crazy and awesome, but that might be harder if you're not so familiar with the theory. But definitely look up theory videos. Theory is great to learn, but theory aside, listen to your ear. Hear what's in your head, sit there, imagine it, put it into reality, at least as close as you can. And that's the #1 skill to have as a musician, to manifest from the aether to this real material world. On that note, that's all I have to say. I'm done ranting. I'm done rambling. I hope you learned something. If you did, hit the like button. That would be awesome. Also, leave a comment for any suggestions for future videos, all that jazz, and any questions as well. Also, join the Discord. Link is in the description if you want to support me on Patreon. That's also in the description. You want to follow me anywhere, that's also in the description. I'm messing with my hands here. You know what I'm saying. Illuminati 100. Yeah, subscribe if you want to see more of this. I'm done talking. This was Bunting. Hope you learned. Hope you were entertained. And peace out.